Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Journey to CISU podcast. And as usual, I am excited about today's episode because I'm having it with a very good friend of mine, Dr. Chinyere Tony-Eke. And I'm delighted to get into this talk with her. But then before we go into that, if you're new here, welcome. This is a platform for ambitious professionals who are figuring out a way to the top. If you haven't subscribed, do that right away. Click on that button you can see on your screen. And if you subscribe but then yet to click on the push notification, you run at risk of missing future episodes. So go ahead, click on that bell and turn on your push notification. Like, share, and we want to listen to your comments. Today's conversation is going to be interesting. I know I'm speaking to a banker, but then this conversation is going to be beyond a banking career. It's going to get into the depths of entrepreneurship and some other very funny, aspect of your work life. And so, we want to listen to your opinions, want to listen to your comments, want to listen to your story where possible. Share, engage with us, and I'll be in the comment section reading and responding. Hi Chinyere, how are you doing today?
Hi Titi, I'm good.
I'm happy that we're doing this.
Sure, same here.
I know the first time we met, I already told you I want to have you on the podcast, and you were very excited. And then today we're finally doing this.
Yeah, I'm happy I'm here today.
Yeah, you're someone that, shares, you're super passionate about entrepreneurship. You breathe it, you live it, you drink it, you eat it. It's basically one of the things that you drive so passionately.
Sure.
And I'm super excited that we're bringing on a platform that supports that. And most importantly, we get to tap into your head and then bring out every single thing that you have to share with us about this.
Thank you for having me here. I'm
excited. But then before we get into that, let's get into your career. Let's get into your journey. You have a very interesting journey, and I am excited to have us unleash that and then share with people. We have on the podcast, listeners, people who are different journeys, different stages of their careers. Some are just trying to figure it out. Some have already gotten started and they're just trying to, define their career trajectory. Some already, they're in the thick of it. They're looking good, they're doing good. They're just trying to continue to, improve on their journey, as they sharpen, their knowledge, sharpen a number of things, and then some already at the top of it already. And I am very sure that we're going to be touching each and every one of these, each one of these categories today. Yeah. Starting with you, okay? Who is Chinyere? Who is Dr. Chinyere Eke? Are you a medical doctor? What did the doctor come about? How did your entire career journey start?
Wow, where do I start from? Who is Dr. Chinyere? Do I start with the doctor thing? No, let's leave that for now. Anyway, I am Dr. Chinyere Tony-Eke. I currently work with Globus Bank as a group head of digital banking. And how did I start my career? It's good to mention I studied home economics.
It makes me laugh every time you say it.
I studied home economics.
I laugh every time you say it. I don't ever get used to it. Not to say anybody who studied home economics, didn't study it. It's just knowing her, right? Knowing your career, knowing where you are right now. Every time you say it, it still feels unreal.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say.
Was that intentional?
It wasn't intentional. It was never the course I wanted to study, but I found myself studying that. And while in uni, or while looking for admission, I had wanted to study pharmacy. But unfortunately, I didn't make my physics. And of course, I had my younger ones, and I could not stay back at home to keep writing jams or writing GCE to clear my physics. And I started searching for a job. One thing I will say is this: any organization you find yourself in is always important to learn one or two things from there. because you don't know where whatever you learned will take you to tomorrow.
True.
Because I would say that that is one of the things that helped me to find myself in banking. Okay, so after graduation, as I was looking for a job, first of all, I started with teaching.
Okay.
And I was being paid 5,000 naira as my monthly salary. Ask me, I was teaching 9 courses.
What?
9 subjects. That's what I was teaching. But then I had this arrangement with my proprietor, because I told myself while I was in school that I see this my certificate, I must use it to become somebody in life. And I knew I would not remain as a teacher in that school. So I had an arrangement with my proprietor, and I told him, look, while I'm going to give my best in the school, but one thing I ask of you is that you permit me that anytime I'm going out for either an interview or to go and write tests, that you should permit me, which he agreed, because I was giving my best as well. So anytime I had opportunity, he would allow me. Yeah, I'll go for my interview, I'll go for my test and all that. Eventually, I found myself in a fund management company.
Fund management?
Yes, fund management company. I started working there. I worked there briefly, and I left there. I joined another fund management company. It was while I was working there that I now found myself as the marketer in charge of one of the banks.
Ooh. So what would you say, getting into your banking career finally, because I didn't even see the fund management part coming, giving from a teaching job to a fund management job. I don't know what had went down in that part. But then since your banking career kicked off, has it been in the banking career ever since for over a decade now? In fact, almost 2 decades.
2 decades.
Yes, almost 2 decades. What would you say, since that journey started, was one early career decision that you made that has set your career on the path that it is today?
So coming into banking, I kept asking myself, human development. I knew it was not human resources. I knew it was beyond human resources. So all I had to do then was to make sure that whoever that comes in contact with me, that I leave a lasting impact on them. So the way I was relating with my customers, the way I was delivering my discharging my duties and all that, I made sure that I leave lasting impact on people. One of those examples at my early stage in banking was that in the branch where I was serving then, where I was working then, we had this retired military pensioners, right, that we were paying then. And of course, then we didn't have all these digital channels that you're using to, access your bank account. At that time, everybody had to come to the bank, and we always had long queues. You can imagine all these old men, old women coming to join the queue, and they would wait there. They would travel long distances from where they were coming to just come and get their peanuts as pension. I felt for them. I had to talk to my boss. I said, why don't we separate these people from the other customers that are coming in? You know what my boss did? He said, Chinyere, you are the one that recommended this.
You be the one to handle it.
I said, okay, no problem. So we took them outside. And again, imagine all these old men, old women outside under the sun, under the rain, after long hours of coming from wherever they were coming from. I felt for them. I went back to my boss again. I said, no, we can't keep these people outside just like this. Why don't we rent canopy chairs to help them sit down? Yeah, that also, like I said, my job, I'm always interested in leaving an impact or making an impact in the lives of people. And that was how we rented canopies and chairs, and every time we just, at the end of every month, they'll come, sit down, we, start paying them. Initially, I also found out that, look, paying these people, we have to wait, debit their account, then pay. They still have to wait. I went back to my boss again. I said, okay, sir, when we are paying salary, we have this solution that we can use and then put everything just at the click of a button. All accounts are credited. Why don't we do the same thing? Pay these people, block whatever, how much that we're paying them. At the end of the day, we come back, use the same solution, push it, and all of them are debited. It's okay, let's try it. And that was how we tried it. So these people, when they come, we don't need to leave them there for hours again. We have to pay them, and they were happy. And it was also that as I left that branch, a good number of them kept in touch with me. Why? Because I didn't just see my job as paying them. I had to look for a solution. I had to look for ways to make it easier for them. I would rather say I kind of was empathetic with them, and I needed to see how I can make it a lot easier for them and reduce their stress. So from the beginning, that is what I always have in my mind. How do I make impact in whatever I'm doing?
This is really interesting because it shows all of the ways that you apply yourself to your job. A lot of times we see our jobs as something that we earn a living from. I go into work, do what I'm asked to do, and do what I'm paid to do, and then get on my way, which is honestly not a bad thing. You signed a contract, you know, this is what you have committed to do, and then this is what the organization has committed to paying you. But we've had cases of people who go beyond that, not necessarily because they want to, you know, they want to shine, like we'd say here in Nigeria. Okay, but then because, you know, they can't see a problem and look away from it. It's just how they're wired.
Yeah.
And they don't even necessarily have to be in a position of power, oftentimes, or necessarily in a leadership role. They just see this problem and they can't sleep till it's solved. And from everything that you've described, you sound like someone like that. You know, people would say that's entrepreneurship, but in your own words. So you spoke about buying. So how do you build a compelling case to get buy-in? Because mind you, you're the one that got the idea. You don't have been noticing trends that said, this is an observation. We need to do something about this. All of that has been in your own head. Now these people are minding their business, minding their own problems, their own challenges, and all of a sudden you have this fantastic idea. How do you get them how do you get to sell that vision to them and get them actively involved to the point of them, you know, going to war with you for lunch?
Okay, like I said earlier, you must understand what you want to build, right? Or the change you want to create. And again, you must understand the impact it's going to make. What impact with this change you're bringing or this solution you're bringing, what impact is it going to make? And how does it align with the organization's value? And again, what you must not forget, how will you bring money?
Very important.
Very, very important. You can't expect the organization to invest so much without return. There must be return on investment. So those analyses, you must have clarity to all those things. So you'll be able to pitch it for them to understand what you want to put. Remember, like you said, all the idea is in your head, but you must learn how to put it on black and white. Is it black and white or black on white? Somebody has corrected me on that before. I said it's black on white. That is black pen on white paper. All right. Anyway, so you must be able to put it on the paper clearly. The paper could be physical paper, it could be electronic anyway. So you must be able to clearly define what you want to do, the impact it's going to make, the target market, and the revenue impact. Every organization, what they're always after is that revenue.
True.
Very important.
Because that's how businesses stay alive.
Yeah. If you don't have all these things clearly stated, how do you expect the buy-in?
True. So where do you see digital banking in 5 years?
Digital banking in 5 years. The truth is this. The bank is evolving.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of things that we're doing. In fact, before we talk about 5 years, let me tell you what happened previously. Before now, when I ventured into what we call cash management or transaction banking, which metamorphosized to what we call digital banking now, right? At that time, it got to a point that my organization wanted to shut down my unit, my collections unit. Why? Because they felt that it was not yielding revenue.
Okay.
Our income was in trickles. I had to make a case. I had to make a case to the organization. And at that time, most corporates were averse to anything digital.
Yeah,
right?
Just like,
yeah,
any other change.
Most organizations, in fact, you go to several organizations and make some presentations, they'll tell you, sorry, we don't do this. But today, look at what is happening.
It has become the norm.
It has become the norm. And so what are we talking about? In digital banking, where are we seeing ourselves? You see the role that AI is playing now. The time has come that AI will also be used in driving digital banking. A lot of time, before now, you don't see organizations doing some transactions within their system. Embedded finance is the in thing now, right? And you see it will grow at scale. A lot of transactions will now be happening within the organization's various corporate systems and all that. AI, like I said earlier, is going to drive a lot of things that we're doing, But all these things will depend on data. So what we do now is make sure that we have accurate data, which of course gives us an idea of what to do and where to play in. But then, just like thankfully you were in our FinTech Summit, just concluded FinTech Summit. If you look at it, it's that, our topic was on collaboration. For us to achieve this, is not what a traditional bank will say, okay, I have to do it alone. We have to partner with fintechs.
Yeah.
A lot of collaboration has to happen, with a number of fintechs to drive all these. Thankfully, a number of people are also buying into digital channels for their transactions. So these are the things that are driving digital as we proceed. But the major thing is the AI is going to play a lot of role. Personalizations and all that going to be happening.
Yes. So that leads me to my next question, which is, you had mentioned collaborating with fintech and all of that. What fintech innovation right now excites you the most?
Yes, banks have been trying to do a whole lot.
Yeah, banking the unbank.
Pardon?
Banking the unbank. That has been trending.
We've been trying to do a whole lot around that, but we've not really, gotten it that right. But look at what fintechs have done. I recall in the past, common POS terminal, we used to beg merchants
to take
POS.
I remember actually.
But today, if you go on every street, you see POS terminals everywhere. Who did it? Fintech. In fact, it got to a point that I had to make a case to my board. I did kind of a presentation of what fintechs are doing and what we are doing. We are far below what they are doing. It actually excites me of how they were able to penetrate even in the remotest villages to deploy these applications that we were finding difficult to give even merchants in the cities. It excites me. And I see more collaboration in those areas. We don't need to compete. What we need to do is to collaborate. But the only thing is that it seems as if banks are more regulated than the fintechs.
I was going to say that. I think that also contributes greatly, and also the size. What a fintech organization will hop and run and then do right now, but the banks, it has to go through 1,001 steps and level of checks. because of course you have more to lose. If with every wrong innovation, you have so much to lose.
But you know one thing I love also is that the fintechs are also making us wake up.
Yes, everyone is.
Before now, you don't think about anything instant settlement. Talking about POS still. But fintechs were able to achieve it. The only thing is that customers will rather want to keep their money with the bank.
And trust. You guys have been around much longer. Yes.
But what do they do? They use the fintechs to do the collection and then keep their money with the bank, right? So that also is one thing that excites me. Fintechs are bringing in innovations, areas that we may not have figured out how we can work on all those things. The fintechs are bringing it in. And it's helping us also to wake up and also to be more innovative in what we are doing. Yeah.
Interesting. You've spoken a lot about entrepreneurship. For someone who wants to go from, who listens to this and says, okay, how can I do more? I want to go from just doing my job to now buying into the entrepreneurship, mindset. How can they start?
First of all, is the mindset shift. Like you said, mindset. Entrepreneurship is a mindset thing. Entrepreneurs are value creators. They are not just job doers. So for someone that wants to start, that mindset shift is number one. And then you begin to look to see gaps, because there is always gaps everywhere.
Gaps,
So begin to see those gaps. How can we block this gap? Like I told someone, entrepreneurship is not about just creating products. It's also about making process changes.
Yeah.
You understand?
Efficiency.
Yeah, to improve efficiency, to make things work more seamless. It could also be even in customer service. How can we endear ourselves more to our customers? Of course, that is also by way of process change. Not just about complaining, but also when you identify the gaps, you think through it, ask questions, do research, engage to find out how best those gaps can be closed.
Interesting. Okay, we've spoken a lot about, employees applying themselves to work, giving their best, thinking in systems, thinking beyond the siloed vision of just their jobs. Now, because I'm always a huge fan of maximizing the opportunities in your career and taking stock of what exactly that your journey has contributed to your own life goals.
Yeah.
In all of this applying yourself to work, how can professionals ensure visibility of their hard work within the organization and also outside of the organization?
Okay. So
without coming across as if they're trying to boast or trying to take the shine, and then ensuring that senior leadership see their impact, and most importantly, outside world sees their impact.
Talking about this, there is something that I used to think. I used to believe that my work will speak for itself. Yeah. I used to think that I can put in energy, do all the work, the result will speak for itself. But I found out that it doesn't work that way. You've got to add your voice to your work. I found out that your tongue, which is the smallest part of our body, is actually given to us to speak out. And so if you must be visible, you must also be able to promote what you're doing. Talk about it. Let people know what you're doing. Share it in meetings, speak. Let people know what you're doing. Where you have opportunities, speak out. Let people know what you're doing. You can even do reports. Send to your management. Let people know what you're doing. And of course, like we said, you are not working in silo. You also need to interact with other people in other teams for people to see what you are doing.
So how do you ensure that you do it in a way that it doesn't seem to, say, your line manager as though you're trying to, outshine, or even seem to your colleagues, as though you're trying to outshine or trying to, boast?
Now, you cannot please everybody.
Right? I know we also talked about understanding how to manage and work with,
Sure. One is that you cannot please everybody.
Guaranteed.
There are still some people that no matter what you do, they will still find fault.
Everybody doesn't like ice cream.
Yeah, that's it. But the truth is, you must also learn, understand the other persons. That's where emotional intelligence comes in. You can't talk about entrepreneurship without talking about emotional intelligence. You must understand the people you're working with. You must understand their weaknesses and also your weakness. Because you too have a weakness. Know how to manage your weakness and know how to manage the weakness of the other person. As an entrepreneur, other people may not send you, but you send yourself. You know where you are going to. You are intentional about your journey. So even if others don't care, you care. So you must try as much as possible to understand the people that you are working with it, to see how you can navigate. You must build allies. You can't run away from it. So that's it.
In what ways do business owners, either knowingly or unknowingly, or business environments stifle entrepreneurship?
It happens.
How?
Yeah. And sometimes hierarchy can cause it, where every decision must follow that protocol. Sometimes the person who has the best idea might be a junior staff. And maybe the persons that he is reporting to don't even have an understanding of what you are bringing on the table.
That happen a lot.
So because of that hierarchical process that you have to pass through, that idea might not even be given a chance to see the light of the day, not to talk about to thrive, right? So that can affect. But in some organizations where people are allowed to speak, in fact, there's an organization I worked with. How they were able to do this is that they created a platform where anybody can come and drop your idea there. Yeah, you drop your idea, anybody, you can drop your idea there, and you can also source for people to like your idea. The ones that get the most of the likes, sometimes it can be organically. Sometimes it might be that you just had to talk to people to go to the platform, read up your idea and then like it. However, but the ones that get the most likes are rewarded. So in that case, you see that the employees are allowed to air their mind. Not that somebody will sit down on it and then not allow you to think outside the box, when you were working. It's not just about following the protocols. That protocol can kill. Yeah. How did banking start? It's not just deposit and withdrawal, then loan and all that. Today in my office, I know a number of ideas that were brought there. When I came to my office and I saw the things that are working there and all that, I know the number of ideas that we brought up to bring our team to the level that we're operating today. Do you understand? So because we are given that opportunity. Imagine if you're working in a place where you don't have the opportunity or you are not given the right to explore, to bring in new things that can push the business forward. So for me, if you ask me, I'll say I wish that organizations can understand the benefit of entrepreneurship. That will help employees to feel involved, to feel recognized, to feel that they are part owners of this business. When we're talking about part ownership, we're not saying that they must be shareholders per se, but that ownership spirit to recognize that they are with you on this journey. Give them chance to speak. Give them chance to air their view. Not that when somebody speaks, maybe you use it against the person and all that. So that's what I believe.
You work a lot.
Sure.
You work so much. How do you handle the pressure that comes with, your career or the kind of career that you have?
Of course, there's always pressure. But I always psych myself not to allow whatever that comes my way to weigh me down.
How do you refresh? How do you, hit refresh?
Once I leave the office, all the issues, all the smooth, if I should put it that way, you know, I drop it by the door. I don't allow anything to weigh me down.
You don't take it home with you. That's a very good and interesting one. I know a lot of people do this. I know people will tell you, I can work till 7 p.m. but once I close that laptop, it is out of my head. I am refusing to let it go to bed with me. I'm refusing.
Not that I will not work. Oh.
What I'm saying is, like,
I still work at home, right? But I don't allow the issues or maybe the things that came up within the day to affect me. Do you understand?
Perfectly.
I don't allow it to affect me in any way. You know, sometimes people will walk up to me and say, Chinyere, you are strong. Go. You know, when they see some things, you know, they were, Chinyere, how do you do it? I don't allow it to settle here or to settle here, because tomorrow is another beautiful day. I carry the challenges of yesterday to come and spoil my beautiful day the next day.
Nice, nice. You've been speaking a lot about retirement recently, and I was wondering, what's inspiring this woman to talk about this?
Yeah, I have engaged in a couple of conversations with some of my colleagues or some of my friends in the industry. And I came to the realization that a lot of us allow ourselves to be tied down to our work, and we forget that for each day that passes, we are getting closer to that retirement. And I asked myself this question: when it happens, how prepared are you? Preparation should not happen the day you say, I am retiring. Preparation should actually start from the day you started your work. That's the way I see it. And I've had a conversation with other people, and I found out that so many employees are making this mistake. And I told myself I can be a voice to correct this. Though I started late though, I must say the truth. I started late, but I don't want the younger generation to make the same mistake that we made. Yeah.
Educate me. For at least if you work in a standard organization, you have a pension fund that is funded every month. Not a fantastic amount, depending on what you earn, right? But then sooner or later, you know, at some point, you know, they are obligated to put something into your pension fund. Now, if almost everyone has this, at least within proper corporate structure, why should they still be worried about retirement?
Check that pension. How much is it? Like you said, it's not much, the money that you contribute. By the time you retire, coupled with inflation and everything.
True. Devaluation, all of that, macro level.
So pension is good, but is it enough? That means you have to have other plans of how to, you know, handle your, because you still want to enjoy your life after retirement.
Yeah, not live on
You still want to live, if you live a luxurious life, you still want to maintain your standard of living after retirement. If you want to depend on pension, what percentage of your salary is credited into your pension account?
Very little, to be very honest.
Very little. So when you retire, you want to depend on it. How possible is it? And a lot of people say, okay, when I retire, I'm going to start business.
Which business?
Which business are you starting? And that is one of the things that we're also preaching on entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is also a vehicle that will help you to prepare yourself for that retirement stage. Because whatever you do within your organization where you work, like I said earlier, as an entrepreneur, you are the first beneficiary of whatever you are doing. You're building yourself. You're developing your career. You're developing your professional journey and all that. Entrepreneurship helps you to network better. Because you know you are not working as in silo. You're working with people and you must network. You must build allies. Who are those people that you're building allies with? It's through entrepreneurship. You must network. You must build all this. And that business you want to do after your retirement, why don't you practicalize it while you're working? Because the skills that you need after retirement is still the same skills that you're, applying in the work that you're doing. So why don't you do that? Negotiation skill, marketing skill, customer services skill, name them. Product management skill. You need all these in building your own business. Why don't you apply it in the business that you are working with?
And do a masterclass for free.
That's it. You're leveraging another person's resource to build yourself when you retire. It's not just about retirement. I speak not just about retirement. I also ask people, what of any eventuality? If an eventuality happens now, what next? If they tell you to stop your work now, what next? How would you navigate all those skills as what you are building as an entrepreneur? So it helps you to navigate or to switch smoothly.
So what are pathways to retirement planning? What are the channels? Because now, at least for the sake of the larger audience, the most common thing that comes to your head is a pension fund that is paid on a monthly basis, or at least during the period that you're working, or like a few months after, at least it has to be made by the organization that you work with. With this, with this information, what are the pathways that people should now begin to educate themselves on? Maybe pick up on the foundation here, and then from here go on to do their own deeper study, but at least shine light on those pathways that we can then go on to build on.
Yeah, so I remember I was talking to someone and he told me, my salary is not even enough to talk of retirement. The question is, even when you retire, where will you get the money from? Wouldn't it be better that now that you are working, you start to save, even if it is small? You must save a portion of your salary. You don't have to spend everything, no matter how small that salary is. You must save a portion. And how do you save? You can save in a dedicated account that you decide that you're not going to be touching this account. This account, you're just saving because of any eventuality or for your retirement. There are also mutual funds. Mutual fund that you can put in your money there and your money will be working for you. All you need to do is just put your money there, and the money, the fund managers will use your money, trade with your money and generate income for you.
Mutual fund is quite low interest rate though, and that sometimes
really?
During the market, the mutual funds, the interest rate isn't so fantastic.
But you start small, start something. Would it say okay, compare the mutual fund and interest rate, normal interest rate?
Well, you have a very solid point.
Start small. There are other investments. If you have enough capital, you can invest in stock. You can invest in landed properties and all that if you have enough. But I'm talking about people that are starting small now. You can invest in mutual fund. Thankfully, the stock market, we have platforms now that people can use to trade on stock.
But get education first.
Of course, now you have to learn it. You don't just jump in there, because if you jump in there just like that, you burn yourself, But if you check the platforms today, you see that a number of stocks are actually, they are actually growing. But imagine if you put in certain amount of money for a stock that is being sold for, say, 9 naira, and you wake up tomorrow and the stock has grown to, say, about 15 naira. Check the difference. You have made 8 naira. Multiply by the number of units that you have. You see how much that you're going to make. Do you understand? I did a calculation on mutual fund where you start with just 50,000 naira monthly. And then you spread it and you are putting in 50,000 naira out of your salary.
About 900 and something interest every month.
How many? Remember, in mutual fund, it compounds.
Yeah, compound interest.
It's compound interest. As the months are coming, but your money is compounding. Check it if you are putting in 50,000 naira or 20,000 or 5,000 naira. I think the minimum amount is 5,000 naira. So depending on your capacity, you put it there and it keeps compounding. And every month you are dedicated, you are intentional about this. See this money, no matter what, I'm putting this 5,000 naira into this. And it keeps compounding. By the end of the day, you see how much the money will come out. Or there's even what insurance companies have that we call annuity today. Especially for the younger ones. Imagine if you put something like a 5 million naira. And then after, say you want to retire at 50. By 50, you are getting salary for life for like maybe 8 million to 10 million naira.
A year or a month?
Every year.
Oh, okay.
Salary for life. It's part of it. Or you can invest in land and properties. But one thing I tell people is that don't put all your eggs in one basket. While you are investing in maybe properties, also ensure that you are investing in liquid assets. Because anything can happen, you still need money cash to be able to, stay afloat. But there are so many options that one can, look into to ensure that you kind of secure your future.
I've really enjoyed our conversation so far, especially because I've been looking forward to this for the longest. Before we bring it to a close, if there is there anything that you still would want us to touch on that we're yet to touch on?
I think what I want to talk about, we've actually touched on it a little, but I just want to bring it up again, and it's still in line of entrepreneurship. What I want to bring out is, while we are talking about entrepreneurs developing themselves, developing the mindset and all that, it's also important that organizations will create the culture, the enabling environment that will allow the entrepreneurs to thrive. Because if the environment is toxic, what the entrepreneur will do is to take a walk, right? But if we have an enabling environment, haven't you seen organizations where people don't resign? I once was with someone, in that particular organization, they don't resign. When you talk about resignation, people will tell you, what are you talking about? Why? Because the organization also takes care of their staff welfare properly. And not just about staff welfare, they are also creating that environment where staff can thrive, where staff can explore, where staff can, put in their best, where staff can express themselves, where the organization recognizes the input of staff members. Of course, when you see such an organization, that people will rarely think about resignation. And it's also important to know that it is more costly to get new staff than to retain.
Actually, the hiring process is not one that I'm always fascinated to go through.
It's not funny.
Consistently.
So wouldn't it be better that you create an environment that will keep your staff, and they are excited about what they are doing? They won't even remember about looking for a job elsewhere, because they can see that growth, they can see that visibility, they can see that recognition. When staff members are seeing that, they'll remain, and they'll put in their best to the benefit of the organization while they are also developing themselves. So it's very important. I wish that Nigerian organizations and companies will apply this. Definitely, you'll see, many organizations that will do better. Partnership is important. You can't do it alone.
Yeah, partnership between employer and employee.
Yeah.
Not just I pay you do this. If you just pay you do this, you're going to get only what you paid for.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much for this very interesting session.
Thank you.
I love. I say something. The conversations that we have here on the podcast with guests and the first students, even before it gets to the listeners, and I always enjoy. I not just enjoy, have something to put into my notes and then to apply and execute upon. So thank you so much for granting me this audience, coming to be my tutor for today, and granting me this masterclass for free.
And you are also my mentor on certain areas,
I'm flattered. Thank you. I'm excited to know that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me here.
I thank you so much. It is my pleasure. If you've joined us on this episode and you've listened from the beginning to the very end, I want to say thank you. And most importantly, I'd like to know what your thoughts are on all of the things that we've touched upon. We've touched on banking, digital banking. We've touched on your very interesting career journey. We've touched on entrepreneurship. And lastly, we touched on retirement. I'd like to know what your thoughts are. I'd like to know, what questions you have. And if you would like to connect with Dr. Chinyere Tony-Eke, you're going to see a LinkedIn profile link in the description box. And I'm sure she'll be excited to engage, answer your questions, engage in conversations. And don't forget to like and share. This is the Journey to CISU podcast. Subscribe if you haven't. If you're new here, welcome. If you subscribed, but then you're yet to turn on your push notification, don't forget to do that. We drop exciting episodes from time to time. Share with your friends, share with your colleagues, and like I always say, share with your enemies as well. Have a lovely day and see you on the next episode. Bye.